So I'm here with Eli today. We're going to do a video that was requested by someone in the comment section explaining what I call the rhino, but this is really a self-defense video. So I'm going to go over 3 really important tips for self-defense. They're really good for even people who do martial arts, not just people looking to do self-defense, because this is something that is principle-based. It's outside what you would normally train when you're doing combat sports or traditional martial arts. So it's 3 principles, really effective. Eli's much bigger than me, which is why it's a good example, because in a street fight, usually someone your size is not starting a fight with you. They're much bigger than you. So, and a lot of people always say when I show these techniques, well, what if the guy's much taller? What if the guy's much bigger? So here we go. We have a perfect, okay.
Pow, pow, inside fighting, yeah, dangerous martial arts. Pow, pow, ooh, ah.
Tip number 1, and I want to explain this. If I was sparring with Eli, if this wasn't a street fight, I'll be moving around a lot. I know what's coming. I know the variables, right? I can tap, I can kick the leg, I can come over top, I can start striking. But in a street fight, I'm not going to do that. And this is the first important part of street fighting. In a street fight or self-defense situation, I don't know the variables. In an MMA match or in sparring, I know the variables, right? I know that we're doing empty hand striking, we're doing kicks, there's no weapons. If he takes me down, he's not going to gouge my eyes, so I know the variables. When there's less variables I can account for, or more variables that I'm unaware of, I have to treat the fight differently. So what does that mean? The pre-fight, and this is tip number 1, the pre-fight is one of the most important parts of a self-defense situation. If I get to here, and even people who train martial arts their entire life, I've seen this happen, they will end up in the confrontation with their hands down and their chin up. Why? Because there's a lot of energy, there's a lot of intensity. It's different than when you go into a situation prepared mentally. Usually when you look at the scale of an aggressor, what's happening is Eli's attacking me. I'm the victim. They rely on that. It's why they attack someone smaller than them. So if you think of a scale, they're starting up here, I'm starting down here because they're active, I'm reactive. They're attacking, I'm defending. So the pre-fight, the situational awareness before that gives me an advantage. If we get to here, and let's say he's a mugger, or let's say he's just a drunk douchebag who's trying to attack me, and my hands are down still, this is already too late. So the first thing I like to do is called the passive protective stance, PPS, right? So what is a passive protective stance? I'm not gonna look like the aggressor. When I see Eli coming toward me, I'm not gonna go, hey, and put my hands up, you know what I mean, and look like I'm ready to fight him. I'm going to, step number 1, this is the most important thing, I hide behind my shoulder. Right, no matter what happens, even if Eli here, if I didn't have time to get my hands up and he just swung at me and I just went like this, at least I'm somewhat protected behind my shoulder. But at range, when I have time to prepare and I see them coming at me and I know something's off, I'm not waiting till it escalates. I'm going like this, lifting my shoulder, my hands are coming in front of my face. See how hidden I am behind my shoulder? This hand is protecting my temple and my neck, but it's still open. My chin came straight down. I'm looking at his chest, never his eyes. Why? Because he's beautiful and I don't want to fall in love with him. No, it's because if I stare at his eyes, number 1, my chin will come up because most of the time they are bigger than you. And number 2, you get caught up in the story of what's going on. A chest is not a human being. Eyes feel like a human being. So here it becomes much easier for me to damage him. I don't care about what he is. I see a target, like when I train on a bag. Psychologically, it's much better. So chin down, look at the chest, shoulder up, hands up, and I always take the opportunity to take this step and make sure that I'm on a diagonal stance. In other words, I don't want to be parallel because if he pushes me and I'm parallel, I'm going back. My hands come up. I'm really in a fight position. I'm really exactly how I would spar if I was going to fight, you know, in a sparring match. But my hands are open, and to everyone looking around, I look like the victim here. Take it easy, man. I don't want to fight you. Take it easy. See? Okay, so what that leads into is part 2. So I just want to mention one thing prior to that. I just want to mention something that I had mentioned before, once again, which is that this kind of position here, looking submissive like this, it allows the person, and 9 out of 10 times this is what will actually happen and has happened to me, they will not feel threatened by you. They will actually get right in your face and keep their hands down. Your hands can be right in their face like this, hey man, I don't want a problem. They will literally stay here a lot of the time. This is the number 1 defining factor of who will win a fight. The person whose hands down versus the person whose hands are up, I'm always going to get to their face before they get to mine. And if they do swing at my face, I'm going to be ready to protect myself. Okay, so this is a huge, huge factor in a street fight. It's the pre-fight. And it's something that a lot of traditional martial artists, even combat athletes, miss because they're so used to going into a controlled environment that when aggression escalates, their mind doesn't work the same way. They haven't trained that pre-fight part of an actual fight. They go in knowing that now it's time to fight, now I prepare, not random guy coming at me from the side, oh shit, what's going on? It's different psychologically. I won't let them, again, get this close. The one time this happened to me was because I was coming outside of a bar. There was some guy standing there. And before I knew it, again, situational awareness, there were too many people around. This guy just randomly came right in my face and was like, hey, are you staring at my girlfriend? I saw you staring at my girlfriend. And right away, he was like posturing up, like pushing his chest out, doing this. And I just went, hey man, take it easy. My hands were right in his face. And when he lifted his shoulder a little bit, I just went right here. And then bam, bam. That was it. That was all it took. And a lot of the time, that will happen. Okay, so now let's look at the second important part, and it has to do with that. It has to do with distance management and range management. Think of a street fight or any self-defense confrontation with red light to green light. Green light is where I'm safe. Red light is where I'm in the most danger. This is also contradictory to sport fighting because in sport fighting, I will stay here where I can get knocked out because I'm trying to fight and trade punches. Like, I don't want to get hit, but I might stay in the pocket here and kind of, again, just fight here, kick. You know what I mean? I might literally stay in the danger zone. In a self-defense situation, I will not stay in the danger zone. So this is red. Right on the end of his punch is a red zone, right? This is where he can damage me the most. If he had a knife, right here where he could cut me would be the red zone. Anytime I'm out of range, meaning if we both move back, I don't know if this is on camera, but this would be green. He can't touch me here. Right, so it's about range. I'm not in danger here. Maybe he could kick me, but then I would just take a little bit of a further step back. I'm in green. So here, okay, he can reach me here, so yellow. Right, this would be yellow because I'm a little bit past the end of his punch where people are most comfortable. I'm right here, but I'm not past the point of him elbowing me, hooking me. And then as they get closer, this becomes more green. This would be green. I'm behind him now. Okay, so what are we trying to do in a fight? We're either trying to be out of range, where I could just leave the fight. Literally, he refuses to come closer to me and just lets me keep backing away. Fight's done. I don't need to worry. Hey man, take it easy. I don't have a problem, and I back away. But if he crosses, and I have an imaginary line, if he crosses into this red zone, right here, I'm not waiting. I'm not waiting for him to attack. I'm not waiting for him to talk. The second that red zone is crossed, which is the range where he can touch me, I'm passing that range. Okay, so I never want him to stay here. Anytime he takes that step forward to get to there, I'm taking that step forward in to cut off the distance. Now, how do I cut off the distance? I literally just step in, but with my hands from this passive protective stance, and this is the rhino position. If you look here, I'm going to hug my head. Okay, now I'm totally hidden on this side. Hit me on this side. Very hard for him to hit me on this side, okay? Right here. I'm hidden behind my shoulder, my chin is down, and this is like an elbow. This is also an attack. The other side, and this is my rear leg, so whichever leg is further back, it's coming over and cupping and hugging. Again, my shoulder is high. I'm like a little rhino. At the same time as I do this, I drop my base a little bit too, so my level comes down, and I drive in. Now, if I just stay here with this position and he swings at my face, he'll eventually hit me. So this will become kind of useless if I just stay there, which is why I couple it with bam, in aggression. Into his bicep, into here. I did this on a friend of mine. We were sparring. This is actually something you can use in combat sports too. He threw a hook and my elbow came right there. Right in this point.
Unless you want to short from this one?
Sure, it doesn't matter. Boom, right there. I drove in and his arm dead armed. For like a week, he couldn't use his arm. And he's a very high level Muay Thai fighter. So who's competed in K1, really talented guy, and just this bam was enough to dead arm it, hit a nerve. So it works. It's very effective even in combat sports, but in self-defense, it's incredibly effective. Again, I don't want to do something in a self-defense situation. That means I have to analyze what he's gonna do. And this is where I always talk about simple motor functions should meet simple motor functions, not complex motor functions. Meaning, if he throws a punch at me, right, a hook, I don't wanna have to go bam, bam, bam. Okay, which is parry here. This is like Filipino martial arts type stuff. It's cool. If he throws a straight punch, I don't want to come here and elbow here, bam. It's cool, but I'm not pulling it off in a street fight. Why? Because I have to analyze what's coming. So he punches, I go, oh, straight punch. Oh, I hit the tricep. Oh, I hit the tricep again. Okay, I open the elbow, I hit here, push the elbow away, take him down. It's all cool in theory. It's good to train it, but it doesn't happen that way in a real situation. In a real situation, there's aggression, I'm panicking, he throws the punch, bam, I'm just hugging, I get in, now I'm controlling it. Now I can do things to him, right? It's more aggressive. And this, I don't care what he throws. I don't care if he throws a straight punch, I'll drive through it. I don't care if he throws a hook, yeah, I'll drive through it. He throws a hook on the other side, I drive through it. I'm driving through the attack. I'm not thinking. All I'm thinking about is that red line. If he passes that red line, I don't care. I drive in. Doesn't matter what. We go back, he passes that red line, I drive in. So I'm here, hey man, take it easy, yeah, oh, I'm in. Again, it's called the rhino. Cupping my head, covers up most of my body, most of my head, my motor, and it protects me. I'm not thinking. The simpler I can make it on myself, the better. And a lot of combat sports, traditional martial arts, teach you like 15 ways to deal with one punch, right? Like, oh, he throws the punch, I can parry here, throw the punch, I can parry here, throw the punch, I can check here, throw the punch, I can check here. Like, then I have to start, and then the counter to it, right? Like, the parry, hit, you know what I mean? Then I have to start thinking about all these things, as opposed to just in aggression, okay? What that does also is that skill I was talking about earlier, where he's the aggressor and I'm the person defending myself, it switches, meaning that he's no longer the aggressor, now I'm the aggressor. Psychologically, he's gonna go, oh shit, this didn't go the way I thought it was gonna go. So once we're here, this is great, because now we're past the red mark, the red zone, we're in yellow, leading into green. What do I do? And this is again another little mistake, is that people here think, okay, well I'm here, I'm just gonna elbow, headbutt, whatever it is. That's fine, but in reality, if I get to here and I don't get some kind of control, he's just gonna back out. I'm gonna get to here, now we're back to square one. And now he knows what I wanna do, which will become more difficult. So what I wanna do is the first thing when I get in, and this is tip number 3, is control and break posture. So step number 1, passive protective stance. Step number 2, distance management with the rhino. They cross that red line on the ground, drive in. Step number 3, don't let them get back to their range. Control and break posture. So he throws the haymaker, boom, I get to here, I get my overhook, I'm pushing the neck away, I bring him down. Okay, because here he can no longer damage me easily. Try and hit me in the face, right? Or hit me in the body with any form of power. Not hurt him. And I could be kneeing him, bam! I could really be hurting him. I could elbow him here. So I have all the power once I do this to him. Once his balance is broken, if I want to put him into the ground, I can just put Eli down. He's much bigger than me. Okay? So he crosses the red line, boom, overhook. And when I talk about overhook, I'm cranking it. I turn my body offline a little bit. I don't want to be here and try and pull him down. And I use my shoulder to bring him down, even though my hand is here. I'll do it on the other side so you can see. So when I get to here, this overhook, what I see a lot of people do is be strong, don't let me pull you down. They fight here, right? Or they take the head, don't let me pull you down. I can't. I swear to God, I'm doing this by hardest. But if I take my shoulder and I roll it forward, you see what that does to him? This roll, you all right? Mm-hmm. So all I'm doing is I'm taking it, hiking it up, rolling it, and using my hip. So I'm here, right? I'm nice and tight. Sorry, Eli. It's hard for him to hit me. I turn, I roll my shoulder, hand on the head, and now I can start damaging him. I can guillotine him. If I'm worried that he has a weapon, I could tie up both his arms here so now he can't get to the weapon, and I can throw him down into the ground, headbutt, elbow, anything I want. I can finish by choking him out. There's a lot of things here. But the most important thing is that I don't reset. I don't go, boom, oh shit. Now I'm in a traditional fight. Like now I'm in a combat sports fight, right? As opposed to here, boom, get the control, bring them down. Okay, so those are 3 tips. One more time. Passive protective stance. Red light, drive in, overhook control, break posture. Boom. Oh!